I'm considering going no contact with my dad, and it's breaking my heart. Okay, I'm going to try and summarize as best as I can, because the situation is very messy and involves many moving parts. My dad, 61, filed for divorce from my mom, 60. This, in and of itself, isn't that big of a deal to me, 27F, but his actions prior to and post-filing have me baffled beyond belief. My parents haven't been happy in a long time. They've coexisted and gotten along okay, but the marriage just hasn't been great for about 5 years. Then randomly, while on a family trip that included me, my husband, our 2 small children, my half-sister and her family, and my half-brother and his family, he told my mom that he was seeing someone else and would be filing for divorce. My mom, not wanting to ruin everyone's vacation, said nothing to any of us and dealt with that all alone until we all got back. Then her birthday came and went, and he was nowhere to be found. Didn't wish her a happy birthday. Said absolutely nothing to her. And then a few days later, he notified her that he had officially filed for divorce over text. At this point, he had said nothing to me or my other siblings. Not a single word. He told my mom that the only 4 things a man has to provide for his wife are food, shelter, clothing, and conjugal visits. I myself have 2 daughters, and I cannot believe that he would say such a thing. And when my mom asked him to sleep in another room after he admitted his affair, he told her that he paid for the bed and he will sleep wherever he wants. He has been shady about money and finances, and has always demanded separate bank accounts. He seems to have no interest in maintaining relationships with my 2 half-siblings. They are my mom's kids from her first marriage, but he has raised them since they were toddlers, and their biological dad is not in the picture. So he is the only dad they really have, and the only grandpa that their kids really have. I am the only child my parents share. It's also important to note that my dad has 2 kids from his previous marriage, who my whole entire family has no contact with. Lots of mental health issues and drug abuse, but he seems to want to maintain a normal relationship with me and my children, putting me in an incredibly difficult position. How am I supposed to have a relationship with him while he cuts off my brother and sister for seemingly no reason, other than the fact that they aren't his biological children? Last night he didn't come home, and my mom called me to see if I had heard from him. He had removed various items from their home and was just nowhere to be found. No note, no text, no call, just gone. He left his clothes and some other personal items, so he hasn't completely moved out. He's being so hurtful to my mom and to my siblings, and it all almost feels purposeful, but there isn't any reason for him to be so hurtful. Their marriage wasn't perfect, but it wasn't burn bridges bad. He also seems to be planning on taking things from the house that I don't think he has any right to, like the TV and furniture. I'm also worried that he will try and take the house from my mother or make her sell it. And it was her childhood home. My grandpa built some of it with his own hands. The house means a lot to my mom. My dad had a rough childhood, filled with physical and sexual abuse, drug and alcohol addiction, and abandonment by his own father. Issues that he never got proper help for, as he apparently doesn't trust therapists. I feel like he's entering some sort of psychosis or mental breakdown. I'm considering no contact because I can't condone the way he's treating my mom, and I can't deal with the weird favoritism that he's placing on me, choosing me and my kids over my siblings. How is that supposed to work? And how are my siblings supposed to explain to their kids ages 8, 9, 10, 11 that their grandpa only wants to see their cousins and not them? It breaks my heart. My dad was truthfully my best friend. I've looked up to him my whole life. He's been my inspiration, my rock. I'm so much of him, not only biologically, but in all of my personality. I've seen how hurt he is over having no contact with my other siblings. I know his struggles with mental health. Even though I don't think he even sees them, I worry about him. I've always protected him in some way. I also cannot justify having someone around my girls that thinks women are less than just because they are women. He wasn't always like this. I've never heard him say this kind of stuff in my life. I'm raising my girls to be fierce, independent, strong women. I'm just so hurt and sad and confused. Please, if anyone has any advice, it would be greatly appreciated. Update. I wish I had better news, but things have only gotten more complicated. Since I last wrote, my dad has officially moved out of the house. No explanation to anyone, no proper goodbye. Just slowly taking things until one day he was gone. He's renting a place not too far away. And I know this because he texted me the address like it was some casual thing, as if the last few months hadn't been absolute chaos. My mom is hanging on, but I can see the cracks. She tries to stay strong for us kids, for the grandkids, but the reality is she's devastated. And the more he pulls away, The more obvious it becomes that he doesn't care about the damage he's leaving behind. Or if he does, he hides it really well. The hardest part is watching how he treats my siblings. He hasn't spoken to them once. Not a call, not a text, not even a half-hearted attempt at checking in. These are the people he raised, the ones who grew up calling him dad, who look to him as their father figure. And now he acts like they don't exist. Meanwhile, he keeps reaching out to me, sending little texts about seeing my girls, asking when he can stop by. I feel sick every time I get those messages. Because how do I look my nieces and nephews in the eye when they ask why Grandpa doesn't want to see them, but still shows up for my kids? They don't deserve that rejection. And honestly, neither do I. The favoritism has become unbearable. I told him straight out that if he continues to cut my siblings off, I won't be able to keep seeing him either. He brushed it off like I was being dramatic. It makes me question whether he really understands the gravity of what he's doing, or if he just doesn't care. And then there's the bitterness he's showing toward my mom. He's fighting her over stupid things like the TV, the dining set, even little keepsakes that belong to her parents. It's cruel and it feels intentional, like he's trying to erase her or punish her. I can't recognize the man I grew up with anymore. I find myself going back and forth every day. Do I cut him off for my own sanity and for the sake of my girls? Or do I keep a thread of contact, hoping that maybe one day he'll wake up from whatever spiral he's in? It feels like whichever choice I make, I'm losing. I've started to grieve him like he's already gone, even though he's still alive and texting me. That's the part that stings the most. He could be here. He could try, but he's choosing not to. And I can't force him to be the father and grandfather we all need him to be. I never thought I'd say this, but I think no contact might be the only way forward. Not forever, maybe, but for now, because I can't keep holding the broken pieces of this family while he walks away with a smile. Final update. This will be my final update. I've decided to go no contact with my dad. I sent him a message last week telling him as gently but firmly as I could that until he makes a real effort to treat my mom and my siblings with respect, and until he can show consistency in being a healthy presence, I can't allow him in my life or in my daughter's lives. His response was short, almost dismissive. He told me he understood, but that I was making a mistake. There was no apology, no acknowledgement of the pain. He's caused no attempt to repair anything, just a shrug in text form. I cried for hours after reading it. Since then, I've felt an odd mix of heartbreak and relief. Heartbreak because this is my dad, the man I once considered my best friend, the person I thought would always be in my corner. Relief because the constant push and pull, the walking on eggshells, the guilt of trying to balance loyalty to him with loyalty to the rest of my family. It's over, at least for now. My mom is doing better than I expected. She's hurting, of course, but she's reclaiming the house, making it her own again. My siblings and I have been rallying around her, and I can see her slowly finding pieces of herself that she lost over years of compromise. That's been the one silver lining in all of this. Our bond as siblings has only grown stronger. As for me, I've started therapy. I realized I've been carrying not just my own grief, but also his childhood trauma, his unhealed wounds, his bitterness. I can't fix him. I can't make him into the dad I wish he would be. What I can do is protect myself, my marriage, and my girls. It's painful to let go, but I finally understand that love doesn't mean sacrificing yourself endlessly. Sometimes love means stepping back, even if it breaks your heart. So for now, I'm closing this chapter. Maybe one day he'll change, maybe not. But either way, I'm done waiting for a man who's choosing to burn every bridge he crosses. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice and encouragement. I feel a little less alone knowing others have walked this path.